trying to go around trying to find any type of clip that I can move, anything that can give me a piece of leverage to start pulling it off. Hey there, everybody. Welcome again back to Digital Paul Workshop. It is me, that annoying scratch on your back, Techno Meow Tinkerer. And this video is one of the first videos I recorded. It's not going to be something of real special, but it's basically me taking apart a printer. I had this extra printer. It's been sitting in a storage building for quite a few years. I know at least two, maybe more, maybe up to 5, 6. It was one that my dad used to use. He no longer uses or needs for. And so it's going to be taking apart this Canon printer, especially for anybody who wants to see how one comes apart and needs to repair theirs for whatever reason. But I'm actually taking this part used for greeblies and other things. And I kind of got an idea for a project using part of it. I got to get some more stuff together first. Now, as you see here, I'm struggling trying to find the screw holes. They love to hide the screw holes. I'm trying to see if it's, well, right now I'm trying to check and see if it's just simply snapped together. But sometimes at finding screw holes, go ahead and take anything off. Right now, trying to get the tray off, having to wedge. Yeah, I had to wedge it up. But sit here to take it off. Oh, see if I can find any screw holes. This ratcheting screwdriver is not the best in the world, but I think it was given to me years ago, in my teen years, and I've been using it ever since. Was it a Christmas present or birthday present? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I'm trying to peel off the feet, because a lot of times they'll hide screws underneath those soft feet. And I think I ended up finding the screw. There they are. I found them underneath the cover for the paper feeder. Yeah, I understand why they hide screws too. It gives a nice seamless look. But another reason why they probably do hide this stuff is they're probably trying to keep people out of their things, because some of the companies are getting bad about not wanting you to carry the stuff down to your local repairman to get things fixed. They want you to mail it back to them, which is extremely costly. When it's cheaper, sometimes just go down to your local repair shop, or if you're slightly tech savvy like me, who can do some basic repair work, or more tech savvy like my dad, who was a technician that did TVs, VCRs, even repaired some cell phones. It's cheaper sometimes to order the part. I know with a used phone I had, I broke the screen, and it was cheaper to order a new screen and put it on than for me to just buy a new phone. Now, I'll be honest, with the cost of some of the screens, especially getting higher, and it's cheaper to buy a new phone than it is to buy a screen on some of the phones. But yeah, let's see. Trying to take everything apart. Don't want to tear nothing up. There may be some stuff you can salvage off of circuit boards. I have to look into I think some capacitors, maybe some resistors you might can salvage for other projects. But I've still just taken it off, not trying to tear it up. That has a USB, what's it, B? Yes, USB B port. I wonder if I can detach that. That's going to be something I have to look into. Detach that and use it for something in the future. I may not can use it for feed data, but still the ports like that can be used to feed power to something. So that would be interesting. And yeah, it's requiring a lot of tilting. Now this was all recording with the webcam. And the whole point of this was really just me wanting to record something just as a test record, while at the same time taking apart. That way you can kind of see what's going on. I might be repeating myself here, but trying to find where everything's at, how to take things apart. Now, some of this stuff would have been simple if I was just really just a snatch and cut, but things can be used if you do it right. Those little motors, DC motors, I've seen people do different projects. I've held on to them, and I'm thinking about actually making something with these projects. I got to figure out how to mount something on the spindle in order to get it right, but uh, that metal frame might could be used for something like a support someplace. It can be used for decorative pieces, especially if you want to go for a sci-fi theme, something like that. It could be used, but it could be used for a support in a diorama as well, if you want to give some structural integrity to things. Um, the plastic piece that's attached to it, I don't know about so much support as it could be good for decorative. Now, you might could actually use it for shelving in a diorama if you're using some small, like 1 to 2 inch figures. Very lightweight stuff you could probably use. That's right, these were clipped in. Sit there, get the springs off. I don't know any use for the springs, but I'm still going to hold on to them because I'd be like, oh wait, I want to do this. I need something. Oh wait, where are those springs I did? Yeah. Anybody who's ever built stuff like what knows what I'm talking about. You may not have an idea at first or any clue, but working on a project, it may be the solution you need. I don't know if Ganon's going to be too happy with me taking their printer apart. um, Trying to find where all the wires go. Let's see. Oh yeah, they had these little round things they were using to hold wires in place. This is the first time actually I've seen that thing type of use. Wire is wrapped around these little metal rings, and they just peg it into place. Now, I said, now that's an interesting way to wire do wire management. Don't know if I have any use for doing wire management that way, but the metal rings and the wires could always be useful in projects in other ways. Of course, wire is always good for power, as you just saw the ring there. Um, Especially if you're running something like maybe 1.5 to 3 volts or something. Um, I don't know. I need to look up and see if I can find out what the power rating is on these things. Like, what's the maximum amount of voltage I can use on these DC motors? Um, Metal rods can come in handy for stuff. Definitely as support structures. I know. Trying to think, is there anything else? Nah, I don't. I don't think I took. Did I take the gears off? Now the gears would be good for background stuff. Now, if you're getting into robotics, which is something I'm not familiar with, you might need. You might could use them. I don't know what the will be torque power that the gears could be rated for, but little small things, you might can use it. If anything, you always can glue them to the back of a diorama, paint them a certain color, let them be decoration pieces. All you sci-fi fans, tech fans out there who want to have Star Wars or Mega Man or Transformers or Star Trek. Well, no, Star Trek's usually more sleeker. Again, some of these plastic pieces, don't know what I can use them for. I did find there's a way you can kind of check for certain plastic about what plastic it can be used. If I can find out what plastic it is, I might can find out if I can melt it down and make a block out of it or strip to use for other projects. I have been looking in. There are certain plastics you can kind of melt pretty safely at home, fairly safely. Other plastics you don't. They put off toxic fumes. I used to know about the fumes because I've actually used to melt plastic in my younger days before I knew about all this stuff. Um, but yeah, some of the plastic parts can be used for decorative pieces on other designs. Um, the roller, it's such a cool design that roller it was for the paper. I barely got to see it, but I don't know for sure what I can do it for. Oh yeah, I'm trying to pop the gear off now. That particular piece I took out, that's there in my right hand, I can see that being used as an antenna design for a diorama. It just based on its look alone. Find some paint that sticks to plastic, and maybe put a piece of glue it down, then paint it gray. Or whatever color theme you're doing. I could see it for an antenna. Let's see what part I'm working on here. I can't remember. Oh yeah, I'm trying to get some of those plastic pieces up in there differently. Yeah, I need to put that on a piece of paper towel. Now all that ink. I took a lot of that stuff and went and washed it off. That pad I just threw away. No need to keep a used ink pad. You can probably find some other piece of foam later on to use. Clean off some of the ink. Try to keep it from being quite so messy. Yeah, I think I just took most of the stuff in a shower and rinsed it off. At least the big piece, because the small piece could fit in the sink. The big piece can't. And yeah, that was the fun part with both this metal piece, which will make a great shelf for a diorama to put some small figures on. Um, I don't know though how well, depending upon the figures, whether they will stand very well because of the grooves in it. So you might need to find a piece of plexiglass or some form of hard plastic that's clear you can lay over it. Um, or maybe you can probably put some resin, put it in the mold, and just do a light resin coat to flatten everything out. No, that's an idea. Resin's something I've been looking into and want to learn more about. And there's a project I want to do with it, so that might be used. We'll have to first see how the figures stand up on it before deciding, because I know those grooves will create a problem. Yay, more gears. Good for Greeblies to decorate. Might make some molds first to make a couple copies of those, just if you want a decorative piece that you don't have to worry about moving. Oh yeah, this piece of plastic gave me a lot of trouble. I was trying to figure out how they had this thing clipped in. I'm trying to go around trying to find any type of clip that I can move, anything that can give me a piece of leverage to start pulling it off. And boy, it was. I think this was it. This side. I think it might have been this side that I was able to finally get it. But boy, it gave me trouble. Um, even though I got this thing at fast speed, it's still taking me a while to get figure out that. I think that, yeah, I finally got it. It was that corner, trying to get through. Yep, can't see nothing. I moved the thing where the camera. This is why I do want multiple cameras. I mentioned in a previous video, and you'll see in my PSS video, I talk about using multiple cameras. Finally got it off. Boy, I didn't realize the lighting was that terrible. I gotta get better lighting. Ooh, another rod. I don't know quite how I'm going to use that yet. Oh, that's wiring. Was that a sensor I'm taking out? I think it's a. Well, that's a piece of plastic there, plastic rod. No, I can't remember what it was. I have to go look it up. I have not decided yet what I'm going to use this part of the housing for. I thought about turning it upside down and using it like a mountain base entrance. Do something with the opening like to be the entrance to a mountain base. Kind of like similar to Transformers, although I don't know if I'll be able to do the whole ship thing around it. It'll be great for some of the micro Transformers, not so much the larger ones. And now we're moving on to the top, because I pretty much got the bottom one done. But move here to the top, trying to take the scanner apart. Most of this stuff, if I remember correctly, was snapped into place. And so you just gotta go around using a flat blade screwdriver. Probably not the best. I think they make specific tools for popping plastics over. Still holding on to it. Now, some of these plastic pieces, I will admit, the I know why they do it is for the springiness, but it is kind of a cool looking design. Looking at this thing, most of it is for the spring action, and of course the little spot to hold the plastic for the LED lights. Um, I can imagine if I can salvage the LED and the buttons off of this thing, that these little buttons can be used for other stuff. Um, at least I'm thinking that. I could be wrong. Some part tech is like, it's a waste of your time. It's probably cheaper to buy new ones. I don't have cash to go buy new ones, so I have to salvage as much as I can. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this is parts. Salvage for parts. Not just simply greeblies. Maybe I can talk someday. Not simply just for that, for doing decoration of dioramas, but anything I can use. And I try to see if I can use some stuff for practical. It's easy to make decorative pieces. It's more complex to make practical pieces that actually work. And that is something I want to do, is I want to create stuff that both functions on something that I use every day, whether it's a light fixture, a TV, a radio, and well be stylish and design. Now it's the bottom piece of this scanner I think I want to use for a project for a type of diorama structure. Um, oh yeah, this piece that holds the glass gave me a little fit trying to figure out how to take it apart, having to wedge, use one screw. I got a Phillips screwdriver I'm using to hold the plastic while I'm using the web, the flat blade to try to wedge and just put the Phillips into place to keep it from popping back down as I work. Um, I have not found or I do not know of a use of this glass yet, because I imagine this glass has to be quality. I don't know if I can use it as part of a digital picture frame. Mike could use it in a regular picture frame. Now, if you need something to cut using a razor blade, glass surfaces are usually good to put down, like if you're trimming some paper or photos or anything and using an X-Acto knife. Um, I do have some glass stored somewhere that I was using for something like that. Again, I've seen people actually do it, and I don't know if I would do it, but take the light that was in the scanner and use it for like a light to go underneath a cabinet. Um, I don't know how easy that's going to be because of the way it's designed. I'm going to have to take a closer look at it at a later point. But like I said, I'm trying to make sure not to tear nothing, whatever I can use. Another motor, yay! Those little motors are fun. I remember we used to take a 9-volt battery, this was probably back in 5th grade, and just make fan blades out of like piece of paper and tape and just make it into like a little portable fan. Now, it would be cool to actually make a working diorama where you can use a motor like that with a gear to open and close like a drawbridge door. Ah, man, I wonder if I can do that. I don't want to see the cost right now for trying to make something like that, but man, that actually would be a cool idea for those who want to decorate piece for some of their stuff to make actually a working door or a moving part of some kind. I'm trying to think, what can I use that type of screw and drill bit, or that type of, I don't know what type of gear screw that is called. But man, I'm trying to think, where could I use that? I want to say, eh, eh, I cannot, I cannot. Ugh. Somebody's going to probably put in a comment, well, you can use it this way, you can use it that way. Um, because those screws are actually useful for when you want something only moved to a certain thing. Oh, now, yeah, here we're going to be taking apart the ink cartridge holder. I don't know much far as electronics that are really salvageable. I mean, yeah, the idea of the cable that was used for moving it back and forth might be useful for something. Um, a type of pulley system. Well, that's basically what it was a pulley system using the teeth on end. Ribbon cable that it had. Let's see, yeah, that might be a pulley system. Now the ribbon cable, I don't know of any use for such things, um, other than decorative. As far as repurposing DIY, like I said, I'm not that into technology, so I may have to look into it. There was not much as far as this board I could recall that was of any useful electronics I could probably salvage for anything. Um, I mean, it does have a kind of a cool, interesting design with the little pins there for the ink cartridges, but for the most part, I don't see it other than decoration. Now, the rest of it, like these springs here, you might can use them for certain projects. Um, but the little paddles that they're under, they have a cool design, so they'll probably be decorative. I might want to cast them to make multiple greeblies. I may take a picture and put it into Blender just to do a design work because it's kind of almost got like a fighter spaceship type design to it. Don't know what I can use for this housing yet, or this part of the housing. Now this part looks like it'd be great for a decorative piece on a diorama. The other one, not quite so much. Now basically, oh, let me see something. Yeah, basically here is most of the pieces not most of it, but a lot of smaller pieces kind of just laid out that I took. Like I said, use if there's a way to actually wire this up to use as a light to go under a counter, that'd be great. Um, rods like this, I could see using for like antennas, maybe. Not so much in that one too. Not so much the support or something, maybe the illusion of support. Not quite sure yet to do if it is springy, so I can use it. Um, yes, this is like a laser cannon that you can use for something. At least that's the first thing I thought of as a laser cannon. Um, like I said, could be used for a shelf for diorama. Yes, motors. Love the motors. Just got to figure out how to incorporate them in the stuff. Don't know what to do with some of the stuff. Metal plates. Uh, you can use them. Some people actually might want to use them for thermal on some of the. I've seen people use some of the metal plates as a kind of like a help cool certain electronic components by like being for thermal. I forgot what they call it. I know it's dealing with thermodynamics and dissipating the heat away from the certain electronics. The gears, I'm not that mechanically inclined to know to build robots or stuff with gears, but still going to leave them like that in case I find a use for them. But that's pretty much it far as me taking the computer, yeah, well, it is a type of computer, the printer apart. Um, so I hope this might have been boring for some, but for those who will want to take their printers apart to do their own work, or if they want to take one out to do like I'm doing, to scavenge for parts, hopefully this was helpful. Like I'd like to thank y'all for watching and supporting the channel. Like and subscribe to help me out. You can find me both on YouTube and Rumble. Let's see. Anything else? Oh yeah. I still haven't got nothing set up yet for any if you want to donate to me directly. But keep checking in on my newest uh, video at the end so you know where to go. Um, I think that's pretty much it for today. Hope y'all have a nice day and see you again on my next video.
Yeah.